Advanced rhythm concepts like polymeter, polyrhythm, and metric modulation might seem like super complicated topics that are only for drummers and percussionists. But the truth is that every musician and songwriter can get a huge benefit from at least learning the basics behind these topics. So in this video, I've assembled 7 simple exercises that will help you gradually access that deeper level of rhythm complexity. And these exercises are for any instrument, and best of all, there's no metronome required. The metronome is an excellent practice tool, but it's also very frustrating and very unforgiving. Instead, what we're going to do is practice synchronizing our own body with our instrument and our voice and our hands. Then, once that entire apparatus is in sync, we can then move that to a metronome or to a live drummer. So let's start things off with our first exercise, which should be quite simple. All we're going to do is play 6 steady, consistent notes. Then we'll try tapping our foot on every third note, but we'll also try tapping our foot on every second note. To make this slightly more interesting, I'm going to alternate pick these notes instead of just down picking them, but later on we'll show what this would look like on a piano. So here's 6 notes, and I'll be tapping my foot on every 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then switch to 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then switch back. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if you're on the keyboard instead, what you can do is play a chord with your right hand. In this case, I'll play an E minor chord with my right hand. Then, instead of tapping my foot, I'll just have my left hand play the bass note of that E minor chord. So that's our first exercise. It's very simple, but it does establish something very important. When you have 6 notes, those 6 notes can be felt 2 different ways. We can feel it like this, which will feel like 2 strong pulses. 1, 2, 1, 2. But each pulse is divided into 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When you feel that, we normally use the 6/8 time signature. Now, not always, but most of the time, that's what the 6/8 time signature is reserved for, is that feeling of 2 big pulses, each divided by 3. But when you have 6 notes, you can also have a 3/4 feel, which is 3 big pulses. 1, 2, 3. But each 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 has been divided into 2. So it's really important right now that you kind of get the general idea behind what musicians normally talk about as 3/4 and what musicians normally talk about 6/8. These are the same amount of notes, but they can be felt and grouped 2 completely different ways. And in these next few exercises, we're going to work on kind of combining those 2 feels into 1. So moving on to the next exercise, what we'll now do is again play 6 notes, but we're going to clearly phrase them into 3s. So here's what I mean. Here's a clear grouping of 3. I'm just going to go E, G, and A. And if I repeat that over and over again, it's clearly marking out groupings of 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So find a grouping of 3 notes and try tapping your foot every 3 notes. It should be pretty comfortable. But then try tapping your foot every 2. And then switch back. Once again, you can hear that a grouping of 6 notes can be felt 2 completely different ways. And again, on the piano, I'll just go down a 3-note pattern of G, F sharp, E. That's just the first 3 notes of the E minor scale. Then with my left hand, I can once again play something like the root and the 5th to substitute for a foot tap. But I'd also like you to practice this with your voice and with your hands. What you'll do is count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, strongly accenting the 1, making sure that 1 is louder than the others. Then just clap your hands instead of tapping your feet. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Switching between those feels and keeping track of the counts is going to be a very important skill to access the more deeper levels of these exercises. For our next exercise, we'll do the same thing, but the inverse. Now we'll still have 6 notes, but we'll have clear groupings of 2. So here are clear groupings of 2. I'll have G, E, A, E, and B, E. And you can see that naturally that feels like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'll tap my foot on every second note, but then I'll tap my foot every 3 notes. Switch back again. And once again, 2 completely different feelings of the exact same riff. Moving to the piano, I'll once again play those 3 notes of the E minor scale, G, F sharp, and E. But this time, I'll just intersperse a B note in between each one, and that'll give me this nice little grouping of 2. And instead of having the left hand just play the notes E and B, let's make things a little more interesting so you can hear how this actually starts turning into music. This time my left hand will kind of imply some chords by moving down to the notes C and G, and then also moving up to the notes D and A. So we're kind of implying a chord progression of 1 to flat 6 major to flat 7 major. And once again, I want you to practice this with your hands and your voice. So this time you're counting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 with loud accents on the 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So those 3 exercises that we just learned all fit under the umbrella of hemiola. Hemiola refers to the ratio of 3 to 2. Or 1.5 to 1. I have made an entire lesson just on hemiola. I think it's one of the best lessons I've ever done. So I highly suggest consider pausing right now and watching that lesson, or just opening it up in a new tab and saving it for later after you're done with this lesson. And I also want to mention, if you're a guitarist who's finding this very challenging or just very fun, please consider going over to my website and checking out my rhythm guitar course, Real Rhythm Guitar Level 1. It's 22 lessons of comprehensive rhythm training, just like what we're doing right now, but with a real specific focus on guitar techniques and what modern guitarists do on their instrument. Now, our 4th exercise will be very simple. We're just going to try to get the basic grasp of a new grouping. Instead of working with 3s and 2s, we're now going to be working with 3s and 4s. So what I'd like you to do is take 12 notes, and this time you're going to once again tap your foot every 3, but you'll switch to tapping your foot every 4. So here's 12 notes, and we're tapping every 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But now we'll switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That should be pretty simple, but it's important to kind of internalize this concept that, oh yeah, 12 notes can be divided and felt 2 different ways. I don't care what kind of notes they are. If they're 12/16 notes, if they're 12/8 notes, if they're 12/8 note triplets, you can take 12 notes and you can evenly divide it into 4 pulses, which each have 3 little beats in them, or you can evenly divide it into 3 pulses, which are each evenly divided into 4. Now let's start playing with those differences. This time we're going to take a clear grouping of 3. Once again, I'll take this E, G, A pattern that I did before. But to make it more interesting, maybe we'll go E, G, A, and then E, A, B. All right? So if I do that twice, it's a grouping of 12. And it should be easy to tap my foot every 3 notes because it's naturally grouped into 3s. It might be a little more challenging to tap your foot every 4, but it's got a wonderful feel. So I really want you to practice this until you're not just doing the exercise, but you're feeling the exercise. You're knowing that, oh yeah, this riff, even though it's the same notes, is going to have this drastically different emotional context, just depending on where I place my quarter note. And once again, use your voice and your hands for something like this. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 with accents on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now our 6th exercise is basically the same stuff, but in reverse. So now we're dealing with clear groupings of 4. And I'll do, once again, something simple. I'll just do E, G, A, G. And if I keep doing that, it's very easy to hear a pulse on every 4 notes. But you're going to practice switching. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And one more time with our hands and our voice. This time we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And this little simple concept of playing 4 notes, accenting the first one, and then tapping every 3, I think this is a diabolically fun and mind-melting exercise for anyone to practice, especially if you're not a drummer, just like I am not a drummer. But you can practice it anywhere, on the back of your guitar, on the dinner table, while you're driving. But physically try it with your hands, accenting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then tapping your foot every 3. If you're anything like me, you'll find it very difficult and you'll have to go very slow. But it does unlock a whole different part of rhythmic thinking once you're done practicing it. Now, these last two exercises we've been focusing on are enhancing our ability to feel 3 against 4, and that will ultimately lead you down the road of the 3 to 4 polyrhythm, which is a much harder polyrhythm than the 2 to 3. So once again, if this is your bag, then consider bookmarking that video right now and watching it again later, because you are kind of building the skills to work up towards the actual polyrhythm there. But I want to show you an example of where you're actually going to hear this stuff in action, as opposed to just exercises. And the example I'll give you is from a song by Shpongled called Divine Moments of Truth. That song features a marimba line that we can think of as being 12 counts long. Now you, being an educated music student, know that 12 notes could easily be divided as 4 even pulses or 3 even pulses. And at the beginning of the song, we hear a steady 4 pulse underneath this. But then after a few minutes, a slower 3 pulse occurs, and that 4 pulse kind of dissipates. And the remainder of the song is this slower 3/4 time. And that effect we're hearing can be called metric modulation. When we modulate in music, it usually means changing keys, but when we metrically modulate, it means we're changing tempos. And musicians aren't expected to memorize tempo numbers. Musicians aren't expected to know exactly what 131 beats per minute is. But professional musicians are expected to know, hey, we want our quarter note to now feel like a dotted eighth note, which is exactly what we're doing when we move from this grouping to that grouping. The effect is that our tempo was slow, and now our tempo is faster. So this is all these exercises we've learned should hopefully get you a little bit more comfortable and competent with that concept of metric modulation, should you choose to tackle it. Now, before we move on to our last exercise, I do think it would be a good idea to take all of the concepts we've learned and cram them together into one exercise. So what I've done is written a simple, short little piece that just demonstrates these concepts. They're written for guitar, there's also a bass line in there, and there's also a piano line that's basically playing violins and pianos. But it's all built on these simple concepts of let's take groupings of 3, but divide it both ways. Let's take groupings of 4 and divide it both ways. Now finally, we're at our last exercise, and this one is quite simple, but the point is to show you how you can take everything we've learned and infinitely expand on it and make things even more complex. We kept things so simple today by saying we're only doing steady notes, no rhythmic variation, right? When we had 12 notes, it was hammering away at 12 notes. But what if we wanted to do a grouping of 4 with a little bit more interest? For example, this is a grouping of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But there's variation. Now we actually have some space. It's not just steady notes. So with patterns like this, I want you to once again do the same thing. If this is a pattern of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, try tapping your foot every 4. But then tap every 3. And once again, we're getting 2 ways to perform the exact same riff, 2 completely different variations of the same pattern. And that rhythm you're hearing is exactly what you'll discover at the beginning of The Mirror by Dream Theater. I do think it's a very good example of this kind of rhythmic play at work. They even do some things we didn't discuss here, but it is one I would recommend checking out just to kind of hear how those different variations can transition from one to the other. But I'm hoping that all these examples and demonstrations show you how you can even complexify things further if you want to. For example, instead of doing repeating patterns, right, I was doing simple repeating patterns of 3. What if you like didn't repeat things all the time? Or like we just saw, what if you added some rhythmic variation? Throw in a rest, throw in a single quarter note instead of all 16th notes, and immediately start crafting more intricate patterns. But ultimately, I think this is very beneficial stuff for every musician. If you're a composer, it just gives you more alternatives to interpret and re-envision riffs. And if you're a performer, it makes it a lot easier to keep up with the band when these tricky sections come around. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're a guitarist and you're into this kind of stuff and enjoy this lesson, please head over to my website, signalsmusicstudio.com, and check out the courses that I have available there, especially real rhythm guitar at level 1. I'm sure you will love it. But that does it for this video. So thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please thank my Patreon supporters for making it possible. They're the reason you don't see ads and sponsorships all throughout these videos. They have my appreciation, and I hope they have yours as well. If you can't sign up there though, please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing to this channel. All that kind of stuff really helps me out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.